Okay, so she went back.
Back to the TVA.
I mean, I guess that's where you kind of suspected she was going to go at some point, but I didn't
Now
know
it
she
makes
was going.
sense.
Oh, her powers don't work.
Ah,
You think that? I mean, like clearly this took some preparation. You think she would have had some intel on the fact that her powers wouldn't work in there?
yeah.
But
Why wouldn't she know that? Has she ever been to the TVA? Is this her first time there?
yeah, I just assumed that she had been there at some point. I guess this is her first time there.
I gotta say, these fight scenes are pretty good, man.
Yeah, she is.
She's
She's no joke. Oh, and here it
yeah,
comes. Not probably where he expected to be. Clearly, he's like, "What? I'm
but it
back."
makes sense. She cleared the TVA out by doing those
Yeah.
Nexus
Oh.
events.
Oh.
All the soldiers and hunters left.
Oh. So that's what it was. You're right. I thought she was just trying to do something with the sacred timeline, but really it was just
Yeah,
to clear the TVA out. You're right. We're gonna have a showdown. Here we
Loki
go.
and Sylvie.
She is like no joke with the TVA agents. I mean, now like the last episode where she had the soldier, the TVA hunter fight for her. It's like she clearly doesn't need that, you know.
Yeah, she's actually fighting for them.
Oh, here we go. Wait, before they've
Oh,
started. Oh, see, we were right,
see, we
man.
told you, we
We were
called
right.
it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of Legally Caffeinated. I am Frank Esquire. This is.
Shuaib Esquire, and
We are legally caffeinated. Although I'm getting my caffeine today from Zoa, the Rock's drink. If you're watching this, I highly recommend Zoa. The Rock, I mean, hey, if you're watching, you're probably not. But if you want to send some cases, I'd be happy. I'd be happy to promote it on the show. It's a great drink. Anyway, this is the Loki legal breakdown. We had a crazy episode, right? Crazy episode.
Amazing
Mind-blowing.
episode.
And we lawyered the heck out of it.
Indeed.
We lawyered the heck out of this series so far. So episode 3, we're halfway through the series. We found out, one, that all the workers in the TVA were variants themselves.
Yes.
Something that we predicted and made a video about, right?
Exactly.
So
The variants, the workers, the TVA, they were not created by the timekeepers. They were taken from Earth. They are variants themselves. Everybody in TVA is a variant.
Which just throws or opens a whole can of worms as to how bad the TVA is. The other thing we found out is that Lady Loki, she changed her name to Sylvie, so that's her alias officially. Two, she doesn't have the same powers that we'll just call him regular Loki has. They both have magic. However, his magic is different. She just looks like she can enchant people, which I thought Loki could do. And you brought this up before. I thought he could do based on previous MCU movies, Thor, Dark World. I thought he had enchanting powers. You know what it was? You know what it was? In Avengers, he used his scepter and one of the Infinity Stones to mind control people. That's what I don't know if he ever used. She has like a Wanda Maximoff Scarlet Witch type enchantment where she touches you and she enchants you. But she tells them in this episode how she does it, and that's where we find out the hunter that she abducted was actually from Earth and was a variant herself. So this episode, if nothing else, really establishes who the bad guys are in this show, and it's the timekeepers. The timekeepers. I mean, anytime someone goes off their timeline or does something that's not preordained or predestined, the TVA just snatches them up, and I guess they wipe their memories and say, you're going to work for us and keep the sacred timeline in flow.
Yeah, what was really cool in the last episode was when that hunter who was captured was found by her hunter colleagues and Mobius. She kept saying, it was real, it's real, it was real, it's real. And she looked dazed and confused about something she saw. And I wondered what she was talking about, which is, it kind of gave credence to your theory that the people in the TVA came from Earth. Now, what she was saying was real was what she recognized, remembered from the memory that Sylvie pulled and used to control her. She recognized that restaurant. She knew that place. And also when the headhunter, the black female with the interesting box haircut, when she woke up, she also was looking as if she saw something familiar. So now we have hunters that have seen a memory or a dream in their mind of something that felt so real, but they can't explain it. And now we know why.
Right, yeah, I wondered that too last episode. We spoke about it. We never did a separate episode on it. We should have. But you're right, the hunter woke up and was like, I want to go home. She didn't say the TVA. She just said, I want to go home. She said, it's real, it's real. So she knows that those memories now are real. And the other hunter, she woke up and looked around like, what is going on? So clearly Sylvia tapped into her memories because, as she explains to Loki, sometimes when she's mind controlling someone, she has to dig deep into their memories and present some sort of illusion associated with this memory. So I wonder what memories she had. We brought it up last time with Mobius and the pen that he recognized but didn't recognize. He said, I don't recognize this. It must be from one of your analysts, which I'm guessing that is what he was brought or captured with. So it's his pen, whether he was a teacher, whether he was a jet ski salesman, which now explains his affinity for jet skis, because clearly he's from Earth. Whether he's a jet ski salesman, a teacher from that high school, that was his pen. And then the only other questions is what, to what depths or extent this the plan that the TVA has goes. I mean, who's in on it? I think Judge Slayers is in
Definitely.
on it. And then who else is in on it? Who knows that these variants were previously, or these hunters were previously variants?
I don't think that's a good point. Whoever's in charge, the timekeepers or whoever Slayer works for, they obviously know that the hunters and all the analysts are from Earth. Now Slayer also from Earth, because nobody has a memory.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's memory in their mind, they were just created for this job. They have no memory of anything else. To them, they're not even from the timeline. They're not even human beings themselves.
They were created by the timekeepers themselves. Which I have a theory about.
They're doing.
Yeah, for this job. Which my theory is, which I think this is right. And as evidenced by the thumbnail for this video, I think Loki is already in control of the TVA.
Yeah.
I don't know if the timekeepers ever existed. That could just be a story, something that he told people. I don't know if they ever existed and he took over them, or if he just started this TVA himself. Whatever it is, the history, Loki is already in control, and I think he learned how to manipulate people or enchant them. He already knows how to manipulate people, but I think he learned how to enchant them when he was talking with Sylvia. And I think he's already done this before. This is like similar to the Matrix. Like, he's an anomaly. He's already done this before. This has already played out. And in other versions that have played out, one of them, he took control of the TVA. Now he's in control. And that's why, Judge Slayer said in the last episode that the timekeepers were the most they've ever been involved in a case. And that's because current Loki, who's in charge, or TVA Loki, is in charge of the TVA. And he doesn't want this other Loki coming and taking over, because he knows that it can be done because he did it, and he doesn't want this Loki coming up and taking over.
It makes so much sense, because maybe what happened is, you're right, Loki actually created the TVA, right? Loki created this TVA in order to keep himself in power, right? So now he just takes people, erases their memories, and has them believe that they are fighting a good fight. Because think about this.
Right.
When Loki was speaking to Mobius, he told Mobius that he wants to rule Earth because freedom is a burden on people, and he's there to help them make their decisions. That is all the timeline is. it sets people on a course, and anytime they go outside of that by making their own decision, it's in violation of their rules. And Loki is in the timeline, has set up exactly what he wants to set up for Earth.
Right.
And Mobius also said, why stop at Earth? Why not rule space? And now that Loki is in charge of the timeline, he literally is in charge of space.
Right, and I think he is in charge of the timeline. Like I said, I don't know if the timekeepers existed themselves and he overthrew them, because that's what he said his plan was. He wanted to sit down with the timekeepers. He told Sylvie that he wanted to take over the TVA. So he's already expressed that that's his desire. So another Loki in another timeline did that, and they took over. And I don't know if he actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if he created the TVA itself, because he would have had to have the power to write out time. And it seems like whatever the timekeepers did, or whoever they are, they manifested the past, present, and future, right? And they're still writing it, so to speak. So, or maybe he does. Maybe he took over the timekeepers' authority, and he's running the show, and he wants to protect the sacred timeline, because in that sacred timeline, he is in control. And
because the TVA is separate from the timekeepers, right? The timekeepers created the timeline. The TVA is like the judicial branch, right? Timekeepers are the executive branch. The TVA is the judicial branch. They make sure and punish anybody who goes outside of the rules that are set up.
Right. Yeah.
So he could have created that to protect himself.
You know what is interesting too is rewatching the trailer for the series. After watching this episode, you see at one point Loki's in a throne room. He's in a throne room, and it's gold, and he has a golden throne, and he's getting up. Right. My guesses are you take that golden elevator up, it leads right to that throne room, and he's in charge right there. And he's going to come to face with himself. And current Loki, who actually has an affinity for Mobius, he likes Mobius, is going to have to decide whether or not, to keep these people in this enchantment or to set them free and let people have free will, right? And
actually, like you said, he'll destroy himself, right? He's going to take himself down when he realizes, he has realized. Once he saw in today's episode, once he realized that the people are variants, he was shocked. He wasn't happy. He wasn't like, that's cool. He was kind of shocked that everybody was a variant. So I think that in the next episode, Mobius and the headhunters are going to realize, or at least be told, whether they believe it or not, that they're variants.
Right, yeah, I think so too. I think because the way it was left, they were left on Lamentis, and you don't know if they're going to get off. I think the next episode, Mobius shows up because he's the only agent that apparently knows that the variant or Sylvie or Lady Loki was hiding out in apocalyptic events. So I think he shows up. Loki explains to him, "You're a variant. You were just what we are. The TVA made you into what you are," and I think Mobius helps him get off Lamentis. I think that's how that goes down for the next
Mobius
episode.
Definitely isn't going to believe him, right? Because that would destroy everything Mobius believes. You saw how adamant he was at lunch at the TVA. He was saying, "Look, I don't question it. This is what I believe. It gives me a purpose. I'm just happy I have this. My existence is with the TVA." Imagine how he's going to feel when not only Loki tells him. At first, he'll probably laugh at him and think Loki is trying to trick him.
Yeah.
Because Sylvie, I don't think Sylvie's going to be there when he tells him at the same time. Then
I think you're right.
He'll have a moment with either that agent, or he'll remember the agent saying, or the hunter saying it wasn't real. I believe the head hunter will be there, and she'll probably recount whatever memory Sylvie pulled from her. And then, as I believe you said before, then Sylvie's going to enchant Mobius and either show him a memory using the pen or a memory on a jet ski, as you said, which will make him remember his life on Earth.
Right. You know what? And I'm thinking about this. Where'd they get the jet ski magazine? Doesn't it have an address on it? Like who is the who owned that jet ski magazine?
Yeah, exactly. They don't have jet skis there.
It'd be interesting if like Mobius isn't even his real name. I mean, the hunters were just identified by numbers, and he's identified by Mobius, and Judge Slayer is identified by her name, which I think she's in on it. Because at the last episode where the timeline was getting blown up, she grabs a baton and headed straight for the elevator. So she knew what Sylvie was going to do, which means that the reason she knew is because the person in control of the TVA is Loki, and Loki told her what this person's going to do. But there's some questions. There's questions that are still out there. Sylvie said that she had been chased by the TVA all her life, so that's a little confusing.
It was interesting how. So speaking of Sylvie, she goes to the TVA, and when she gets there, the first thing she tries to do is enchant someone, and she realizes for the first time that for some reason her magic isn't working, so she has to fight. Now, either when she was in the TVA previously, she didn't have these powers or the ability to enchant somebody, so she never tried it, or she's never been at the TVA before to know that magic doesn't work there. That was pretty cool. But also, they did a great job with, I think, the fighting choreography, because usually the fighting in those shows isn't very good, right? Especially when you have a woman fighting a man. They make it seem so unrealistic, but in this scene, they choreographed it beautifully. Like that was amazing.
She took them down. Yeah, like they crumbled like feta, man. I mean, it was questionable. I mean, she took them out so easily. When they're on Lamentus though, and Loki and Sylvie are fighting the guards on the train in Lamentus, I don't even know how that was even a competition. They're from, they supposedly have super strength, I mean, Thor, they're bulletproof, they're from Asgard in their respective timelines, and yet these people were able to throw Loki out the window. So it's just, it was questionable right there, but the fight scenes are off the hook. They
did a really good job. Yeah. I wonder why Sylvie has one broken horn on her helmet. I wonder if that signifies anything or indicates anything.
I don't know. It's confusing, her upbringing. They didn't really dive too much into it. I mean, she said she knew she was adopted, but she doesn't mention having a brother like Thor. So it's a little confusing what what her timeline included. But if all these variants work for the TVA, and the TVA wipe their memories, and I'm assuming what's going to happen now in this series, it's going to lead to the Multiverse of Madness. Are other Peter Parkers, Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker, are they all at the TVA right now? And are they working for the TVA with their memory stripes? Because they would be, in some respective timeline, they would be considered variants. And at this point, you wonder how the series is going to end. Is Loki, or are Loki and Sylvie going to release all the variants back to their respective timeline, thus then creating, a multiverse of madness? What would happen? Because it really would. All these variants would go back to their timelines. It would further branch out because, they're doing things that haven't been done before or is not included in the sacred timeline.
But since Loki's dream, his glorious purpose in his mind is to rule, if we're right, and he is at the head of the TVA, he is the timekeeper, would he allow himself to be taken down if he sees that in some world he's succeeded, he's become the man, right? Would he allow anybody to mess that up?
No, I don't think so. And that's why he created the TVA and have all these agents protecting the sacred timeline where he's in charge. But I guess we'll see what happens. I'm still calling it. He's in charge of the TVA already. It aligns with the trailer. There's the one scene where he has Loki for president and he has like a green vest on. It aligns with that. And it aligns with everything that he said leading up till now as how he wanted to take control of the TVA.
Yeah, that's a great theory.
I think next episode we're going to get some flashbacks from the other agents and their regular lives. I think that's how it's going to open. Mobius flashback on a jet ski, the other agent flashback, and we'll really find out where these variants are from. But then
I think next episode is going to be amazing. And the fact that it's only 6 episodes mean they really can't hold off too long on really diving deep in. So I think next episode, by the end of it, Mobius and those headhunters are going to know what's going on and are going to want to get back to their real life.
Yeah. Some of them might want to stay in the TVA, like Judge Slayer, whatever her history is. She's obviously on board with what's going on in the TVA. But, the other ones, are we going to have a Captain America moment where he returns all the Infinity Stones to their timelines? Are they going to return all the variants to their timelines? What's going to happen with Mobius? What was his past life? A jet ski salesman? Was he a teacher? Because that pen that he had was from high school. Was he a teacher? Where is he from? So I think you're right. I think next episode's going to be a big one.
How did Loki become a woman? Like what was Loki becoming a woman the Nexus event, or did Loki become a woman after a Nexus event to change or disguise his character, right? Because every Loki they showed, most of them looked different than normal Loki, right? One was like a monster, one was really small.
Oh, yeah. So, they had the different versions of Loki.
Yeah. I wonder if when Loki changes, that was a violation of the timeline that got that variant pulled out. And think about it. Where are the other variant Lokis?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm telling you, I think in the first episode, when Loki was going to be reset, that maybe meant disintegrating them, or maybe it meant turning them into an agent themselves. Although Mobius would have had to have been on board with what the TVA is doing. But either they were disintegrated, or maybe they are at the TVA too. I mean, there's a lot that they have to unpack in the next 3 episodes. But I think what we're going to find out is that Loki's in charge. All these agents are going to start getting back their memories, and actually Sylvie and Loki, they're the good guys, which obviously is apparent from what's happened, or at least what just happened in this episode. But it'll be interesting to find out. If you like this video, take the gavel. Yeah, I can't wait either, man. If you like the video, take the gavel, smash the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, tune in for more episodes as we break down Loki on the Loki Legal Breakdown. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.